Okay, let's try this again. Good morning, folks. It's 10 a.m. on the third day, 5th month, 2022. And the predictable battle between the high pressures is continuing. Right? This is what we watch. We watch these battling tops down here. And this one's current on this screen here is at 10:35. But let's go to right now. The times you see on my screen are universal time. So 1300 here. You'll be tacking on 10. Right? So that make you 11. 11 o'clock roughly along this area. Right along this lines here, roughly, depending on here, here, here. You got various people fighting over whether you got 1 hour difference or not. So figure that part out. But this is universal time, GMT. So let's continue along where I had it. You guys along this area are going to cop it. As these two battle along, you got to about here, about Thursday. I'm going to just roll the weather plan. And I'm not agreeing with the amount of moisture, and I'll show you why. But the battle of this pressure is fairly predictable, and they're being accurate with it, actually, which is nice to see. But there are some discrepancies I don't understand. How can this be so high a pressure when it's so cold? Aloft, and the freezing temperatures are very low. Now you see the storm start to fuel up. I'm gonna cut you right here. Right, you're looking at about a day away, roughly, 25 hours from now. So Roma, we can expect it to get inactive right now. Right, this can't be doing a huge beam over this way right now. It could beam this way to move the storm that way. Right, this beam in this way would be counterintuitive right at this moment. This beam in this way would make sense. Maury's going to be the gilt player, and Grafton. So I'm going to be watching those two radars very closely. Okay, I'm going to try to teach you guys EMF. You see, I could turn that off if it's annoying anybody. I finally figured out another option to bring things in quicker. Yay, playing with my computer. Stop playing with your computer. Anyways, I digress. Now the main atmospheric or mean atmospheric pressure is down here, right? So it creates an area in the top wall of it's up here, right? And it goes even underneath Fiji. It's quite a line that's going to make their weather volatile as well, as it does a pressure play between. It's going to play with the pressure that's up here, right? But this one's here dancing here, and these two are also dancing with this, right? This is a lower pressures down. Is lower, right? So it's all going to be tugging a bit of it here, and that's going to be tugging a bit of it there, and that's what's holding these two basically in place. And until these equalize out and become one great big one, you guys are going to have a bubble back for quite a while, as I call that move. And it makes a pump. It'll suck this shit right in here. Suck it right on in there. Sound like something else that a Bill Gates funded thing does. And Bill Gates funded the Geoengineering program that's being sold for the Paris Accords, which are going to cost trillions of dollars in world taxes. Look it up. I'm telling you a fact. So as the pressure off the coast here is going to make the weather extremely volatile all along this entire coast. And this is where I'm going to disagree. Do you see that there? The day that bubbles down to here, well, as this plays, and if this deepens at all, even one tick, that line's down further. The volatility of this area. I wanted my cursor to be this color all the time. Oh well. I just want you to see it. Anyways, as this comes down here, this is where I'm disagreeing with the rainfall amounts. Right? They're saying accumulations that you're going to face are all offshore. But I disagree, because when that came down, it'll be a slingshot effect. It has to bring some in here. It just does. But most of it's coming in here. And I am well disagreeing with these amounts. Well disagreeing. I think that line's coming further south. So between the 5 and 10 day period, they're telling you guys are going to cop it. Look. We'll go right here. That's almost 3 centimeters. High. Have 11 more centimeters. Now you don't see it, now you do. It's more than just a once in 50 year event that's going on. This is geoengineering, folks. This is weather manipulation, weather control, whether you like it or not. And there are many agendas out there, and I call them agendas because that's what they call them when they have meetings, to make new cities, make new ways of living in areas, make new habits, make new consciousnesses towards the aims of the new world order society that is well spoken about, and it is not a conspiracy. Just go look at it. You even see them on headlines in the newspapers. You have to excuse me. I have to have my morning vape. Yeah, these are some extremely heavy rainfalls amounts. Don't get your cattle caught out there. And I disagree. I think that by this 5-day period, we'll be seeing some of those 10 and 11 centimeters of rain through here. And this line hitting down toward here, my friends, is very possible. And this water's all running somewhere. It's all going to go somewhere. And I'm watching. And is the moisture there? And how are they keeping this storm sustained high? How are they heating this? This is my big question. You don't have no light totals here, Perth. I'm sorry if I've been forgetting you guys. And I'm just so used to studying the dynamics of that coast that it makes my weather predictions more predictable there. And I've seen the lay of the land. There's some very high totals there. When you're going to get that? You ain't getting it before then. But they might rob that from you too, because they seem to be droughting y'all. They only seem to make it rain when these lakes here need water. How is your soil looking, I'm thinking? Your soil moisture currently is not fully saturated around the Brisbane area. By Tuesday, bit of a tick up on the coast. Let's just go right to Thursday. Soaked. By Friday, I'll do a 2-day jump. Inundated. Getting a bit of a breakthrough here, which is nice to see, because this is some of the catchment for that river I get concerned about. When it all goes here, right? This is what we worry about. I do. It's not a worry. It's just, it happens. You can't worry about a mountain slope, right? It's there. And mountain slopes move. See why northern rivers, it floods so much? Is when you get this much soil saturation, and then take into account how much falls other places, right? When I go to the accumulation over the 5 days there, they're only saying this much, which is great news for this area itself. But how much fell here? All this adds up to here, okay? This is a concern, and I disagree with the line of moisture over the 10 days. I should take the pressure off because that's not indicative of the day that it's showing. And I disagree. These tendrils of moisture ain't going to just skip this area. Very, very concerned. Cattle grab, anyone? Those poor folks that live along here. My heart absolutely goes out to you people. It really does. And I've been seeing this coming for a few days. And I haven't kept my mouth shut. Anybody knows me, I haven't. I've actually been giving a countdown. I was hoping your weather people would give you a proper warning. But since they're not, I will. But if we look at the NASA worldview, how are they setting this up? How are they going to get the energy around this area to cause a heated flow or an inward flow after something cools off? And you've got a big square over this whole area right here. Don't this cloud look funny to you? Does to me. Its overall shape is odd. Heavy electromagnetic frequency evidenced in this huge chem bomb plume going off over here between this national park and Graffin. I'm not even going to try that name. I always give it a try. Nimboida. Look at the square edge to this form of EMF cloud here. That color, that's a bit different, isn't it? That's a chem bomb. Boom, boom, boom went the plume. That common man hurts. Or cop man hurts. They're copping it there and it hurts. Yeah, that's almost appropriate there. As the cop man hurts. Well, quit hurting people, or hursting them, putting them in the hearse. Pulse wave here coming off Mount Warren. See the edge? Kind of cone shape. Bunch of cone heads. Pulse wave here going through Stanthorpe, Tenterfield, Wooden Bong, where they had the fires. These are all fire accelerants. Fact. Nanometallics that they're using are fire accelerants. Aluminum, barium, strontium, lithium. Burn quite well. Boom, boom. Went the plume there. Right off the Gold Coast and Tweed's heads. Copping it. Right in the head. Bunch of head cases. It's Gold Coast. It's not so golden when you see this off your coast, is it? It is not a beautiful sunrise you saw this morning that's confronting my eyes right now. Look at the geometric form to this cloud here. The compass and square are spread wide here. That's a natural sand feature. Come on, people. That is not a naturally occurring cloud formation here. Does look like a big butterfly effect, that's for sure. It's affecting your weather. I don't see Mothra off your coast, or is that it? Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen Mothra off your coast. As evidenced by NASA, has shown us Mothra. No, it hasn't. It showed us geoengineering with a chem bomb. Boom, boom, plumes. With an epicenter. Shape charges, like they use in controlled demolition, can yield such effects. Square form storm knocking you square in the eyes, ain't they, these days? Caboolture, you are gonna cop it. Absolutely cop it. From here to here, count on it. Bribey again. What do they want out here? A huge resort? Do they want a port? So you don't have to come all the way in here? They make it a special rail thing? What is planned and what is planned? I want to know. What's planned and what's being scammed is what I see. Look at the square here of energy creating the outflow. You guys are going to get it. You're going to get it and you're going to get it because there's a place called Government House. And our government is governing your house's weather these days. Whether you like it or not. They've agreed to the Paris Accords, then you are agreeing to governing your weather by proxy. Toowoomba, boom, boom, plumba outside Toowoomba here. We got Kilroy or Kingroy. Why do they got to blur these images out? They could take a picture of a gnat's ass from 1,000,000 miles away and then tell you this is a black hole. But they can't tell you, hey, look, there's a cloud with a circle all around it. A cloud's pointing at that cloud. Isn't that weird? Fuck, you know. I'm trying not to swear, so I'll continue to try not to. As we head up the coast, Bundaberg, makers of some fine, fine beverages. I like their sarsaparilla. Sassafrases, and they make all sorts of good stuff. Root beer. And their ginger beer, world class. Though sometimes if it's old, it tastes a bit dusty. I'm hoping that's a land feature there, that color. Yes. We have land feature. What are you making salt there and trying to say it's Himalayan? Hey, I got some pink salt. I'd be curious. What kind of happy bubbles are in that water? All right, Danielle Campbell, you gotta give me a shout out. What is that? And as we head to the Great Barrier Reef, something that all of us in our hearts are taught to love. Well, you should love it. It's the largest organism on the planet. It goes from here to here. And I think even it's touching stuff that's under here. And in a way, that Great Barrier Reef is all of this. We all live on that reef together, you know. We do. You guys are copping it. This is the Beeman situation. Here's where I'm talking about the moisture. And the splitting off of moisture. This is the equator. This is the 0-degree line of our map. The flow across the 0-degree line of our map is difficult from north to south. I said difficult, not impossible. It's been aimed down up here with pulses. And as you split a pulse through here, let's say I put a beam up here, right? It creates an energy wall The moisture that's on its way has a lot of momentum. So it turns and comes down, folds. It does. See that burp come down? A little pump. Boop. And down it's there. Now the moisture's there. And turn the beam off and the flow will continue this way. Now we can manipulate this moisture. And you see a beam coming out right here. To manipulate that moisture, to cut it, makes another flow. Some of it comes this way. Some of it comes this way. That is a lot. This is a lot of moisture. This is how much moisture is in the entire world right now. That if it rained down all at once, what would it do? You see a beam coming down here near the end of the feed. It's not a splice together, right? A splice together would be even all the way across. These are cones. And you do have a big beam comes along and heats this. It's like, here's what I said in my head, like a little laughter to myself. It's like, okay, Mac, I'm sending the water down. Give me a bump. Boom, boom. To keep it from going to Antarctica. Bump, bump. And continues to push this up. That heats the top of that and keeps its pressure high. You got a high here and a high here. Watch. Boom and boom. It'll hold this in place, and it'll make their pressures very similar. And that's what I was seeing with the pressures. I was seeing very, very similar pressures between those two highs that occurred down here where this beam is. Right, because I do look. Now, if I go, I'll have to come back here to get that to come up. Turn off the accumulation, go here. And you'll see where the heating happens. They're keeping it hot. That's the only way you can keep it hot. The temperatures just ain't high enough. See, they're very similar. For all intents and purposes, these should meet, equalize, make a wall that force that down. But it just keeps burping up. Boop, boop. It's like a wedge. It just keeps it open. It's like sticking a wedge in there, and this is the corridor for moisture anywhere along this line. Any of that equalizes more, moves a little bit south, and that moisture line is right there to you. Again, Newcastle. Right there again to you, coughs. Lismore, I'm sorry. You seem to be the brunt of a lot of weather warfare this year, more than any other town I've nearly ever seen in all the years I've been covering weather. Dubbo, you're coming in a close second. But you ain't had it like that. Nobody has. See the pressure war? They're staying the same. These should equalize. This thing should have run the air running in toward this and this, right? The high pressure toward the low should have equalized this long ago, and then those two should have met and equalized. So the heating of the top, one slightly different than the other, the 6 and a 5, right there at that 35 is the war that's keeping that alive. Yep. By heating it from here. Weather warfare is very real. And here's your weather plan for the week. I'm just going to let it roll, turn pressure off so you can see it. And you've had your forecast. This is disgusting. Look at the lightning. When those two masses connected, and you ain't all out of the woods down here either, Melbourne, but I wanted to cover the main areas of storms. So you guys, come on. That's mamby-pamby umbrella weather compared to this. This is batten down the hatches. Where are my insurance papers before I leave kind of weather. Make sure you got your stuff for your pets. Make accommodation now, if you can. Where? I don't know. Stilts. You got your rope. Flotation devices. Life rafts, which I don't see would do much good, but they do better than nothing. Can you get out of your roof? Put something up there. Don't be a dumbass. Have the ability. Think in advance. It's not a conspiracy to be prepared, is it? I'm sure the sales at the hardware store won't mind my advice to keep a chainsaw up there. Why? Because that's where you might need it. And you can go help somebody else. Look at Lord Howe Island when it goes over the top of that geoengineering EMF emission place. It is. There's an island off your coast you ain't allowed to go there and go, Right? There's one off the coast of Long Island called Plum Island. Look into it. Look at this. Right? Come as Sunday. You getting it. You just got the weather plan has you back to back to backs, isn't it? Because the energy corridor is there. The pressure is there for it to do that. See? As the mean pressure moves north, that's the bubble, and they're going to touch. Whew. And when they do, it cuts that off. This is a free to spin storm, and away she'll go toward New Zealand. Bye-bye, Charlie. Right? But not so nice for these folks over here. Yeah, I'm not leaving my manure out. Some of you acting like manure. Are you being a manure? Manure? Don't. Hey, there's a t-shirt for you. Don't be a manure. Like manure. Manure family. Everybody should learn the kind words of other languages. Watch this creaming through. But it's only like right at atmospheric pressure. How in the hell is this a storm? Right? That's like a fart. Probably has more of a pressure release. I'll have to look into that. You know me, I will. Wellington, they got some storms planned for you next week. Come on. They can tell you what the weather is next week, but they can't tell you what the weather's going to be today. I will. Right now they're into the realm of BOM conjecture. Look at the kind of graphics I could create. For all intents and purposes, to me, this is an impossible storm. Even this year, it's impossible. If the pressures are that, come on. I'm not an idiot. You may say I am, because I didn't go to your school that dumbed me down. With a high pressure like that, you guys should have what we call the Bluebird Day, where it's beautiful. And no clouds. Remember those? High pressure systems over ice. Yay, the weather's going to be good. Not anymore, man. Not anymore. The geoengineers have come to town. The geoengineers are bringing the rain down. Are you going to consent to the Paris Accords if it's going to do this to you? I say no. Only you can decide whether you consent or do not. And if you do not consent, make your voice heard. Okay? Big love. Keep safe. Peace.